boys and girls. So for today's math lesson for Friday, we're still in our Envision's math book. We are going to do lesson 10-7, and that starts on page 579. Now, if you watched yesterday's math lesson, we talked about making a 10. Like sometimes we have so many ones that it would just be quicker if we grouped those and made a 10, and that helps us count faster. Now today we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to help us when we add. So the title of this lesson is called Adding Using Place Value. Now I hope you all remember how when we have a number, this is the ones place and this is the tens place. Or maybe you've heard the ones digit or the tens digit. Digit and place value, they mean the same thing. So we're going to look at this problem first today. Let's say I have, let's say 28 chickens. So here's my 2 that's in the tens place. Here's my 8 that's in the ones place. So let's pretend that I have 28 chickens and I want 16 more chickens. That'd be a lot of chickens, but I need to know how many chickens that would be. How big of a place do I need for all of these chickens? So watch what I do. Now, I'm going to look at the ones place first. I'm going to start in the ones place. I see 8 ones and 6 more ones. Now over here, our book shows us that we can draw those ones to help us. So I'm going to think, all right, here's my 8 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to draw my 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, just like yesterday, I want you to think, okay, this is a whole lot of ones. Do I have enough to make a 10, a whole brand new 10? Now, before I do that, I need to draw my tens over in the tens place. So I have 2 tens for my 20. So I show right here, there's my 2 tens. And then my 1 10 for my 16. So far it looks like I've got 3 tens over here and a lot of ones. Let's work on these ones for a while. So I've got my 8 ones up here, and I know if I add 2 more, I don't want to cross that one out. If I add 2 more ones to that 8, that makes a brand new 10. Now, we're going to scoop this 10 over. We're going to put a brand new 10 right there. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tens and 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. Now, before you think, holy moly, Mrs. Daniels, this is so crazy, hang with me because I'm going to show you a way that might work better for your brain. But let's finish this one while we're at it. So I know that I had 4 tens that I made, and then I was left with my 4 ones that couldn't make a 10. Now, parents, this is where we joke because they say we don't teach carry the 1 or carry the 10, carry the 1 anymore. But if we were at school, I totally would, and I will for this lesson too. I always tell the kids, okay, when we do these crazy things that have extra steps, if it works for your brain, great, but this is the way that Mrs. Daniels' brain works, and I show them the way that I was taught and probably the way that you were taught, just so they are exposed to different strategies. And then when it comes down to the actual problems, feel free to pick any strategy that works best for you. Math is one big strategy, and all my goal for math is that you know how you did it and you came up with the right answer. So if you don't like this strategy, hang tight because I think you'll like this next one. So I'm going to leave the tens and ones up here. but I'll change my numbers. This, we can just get rid of this. All right, so the way that Mrs. Daniels was taught when I was a wee first grader. All right, so let's pretend I'm adding 35 plus 15. Let's say there were 35 Easter eggs and I found 15 more. I want you to cover up that tens place. Again, start with the ones place. I'm gonna think, okay, 5 plus 5. Hey, that's a doubles, and I remember when we learned doubles that 5 plus 5 is 10. Now, the ones place in 10 is a 0. So I'm gonna put that 0 right here. But watch where I put the 1 from the tens place. Oops, I took my 3 away. I'm gonna put it just up there, okay? I know that's a 10. Instead of drawing your ones and moving them and counting and making a brand new 10, put it right there and it's done. Now I need to count up how many I have in the tens place. I've got 1 plus 3 plus 1. So let's say, well, 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 1 more would be 5. And my answer is 50. So 50 Easter eggs. Now, it's going to ask you in the book, could you make a 10? Did you have to make a 10 to solve, to get the answer? So you can say, yes, we had to make a 10 for this one. In that last problem I showed you, you would say, yep, we had to make a 10 because I had so many ones over there that I had to circle, make a new 10, bring it over. But I think you'll probably find that this one is a little bit faster and a little bit easier for your brain to just make sense of. And like I said, whichever strategy works for you, that's the one I want you to use. So for today, you're going to be doing pages 581 in your math book. And we're going to actually, after this lesson, we're actually going to call it good for chapter 10 in our math book. And then next week, we'll start in fresh with chapter 11, just because I want to make sure that we at least touch on every chapter before the end of the school year, because there's so much good stuff in there that you're going to need to learn before second grade. So I hope you guys all have a great weekend and enjoy your family. Bye.